Hi, I'm Joe with Gramophone. Today we're going to talk about an amazing control system, Josh.ai, with Tony Ferrante at Hill Residential Systems. Okay, Josh, turn the lights down to 0.
The brightness is now 0%.
Tony, how you feeling?
Good to see you.
Great
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And really the first thing we want to talk about today is there's a lot of people who buy a system and then maybe don't use it all that often because it's not so easy to use. So maybe you can talk just a little bit about that and what our real topic is today.
Yeah, so Josh.ai is a control system company. You know, they were born from being a voice automation platform, and it kind of morphed into, wow, we could do these really great things with an app. You know, if you think to back in the day, we had a table full of remote controls, you know, that were sitting on the coffee table. And then what we do as automation companies, we gave you that one remote, put everything on one remote. Well, we kind of live in a digital world now. We have all these apps. And how cool would it be to just have one app to do anything? And that's kind of what Josh has done. They've come together and say, hey, you have your music, whether it be Sonos or something else, and your lighting control from Lutron, and your temperature, and your TV, your Apple TV, Roku, whatever it is you're using for your entertainment. Let's put that all together and give you one really easy way to control it all.
Right, because in a sense, what you're really saying is that the coffee table full of remotes from 30 years ago has now become the phone full of apps that you have to jump back and forth, which is complicated and people don't like it. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about Josh.ai is you make it simple for people to use their system.
It's exactly what it's all about, simplicity.
Tony, I think about even in my own home, how confusing it can be with the TV and the Roku box and so forth. Can you give us an example of how Josh.ai makes entertainment easy?
Yeah, so the example we gave before about the remotes. Everybody had all these remotes on the table. Now we have all the apps. You have an app for your smart TV, you have the app for the Roku, and how do I make that all work seamlessly? If it's easy to use, we'll use it every day. So how great would it be to just walk in your house and say something like, okay, turn the lights on and lower the shades or play holiday music. Perfect example in here, we're in the Invisible Theater. You know, maybe we want to watch a movie. So, okay, Josh, turn the lights off and watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
You got it. Invisible theater lights are now off. Now watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Tony, I think it's really seamless what you just showed us, how easy this can be to use your home entertainment system. But some people might not want to use voice control. What are some of the options if a person doesn't want to use voice control?
So we have a few different things you could do. You could use the Josh app, which is fantastic, but we also have the Josh remote. People still like to have that remote. People don't want to be tied to their phone because if you take a phone call, now what am I going to do? I can't pause the movie. So with the Josh remote here, tactile control, if we go to watch Guardians of the Galaxy per se, you know, I can pause the movie and say, hey, you know, I want to go to the home page on my Roku. And now I still have that control. So I still have that. It's just like a Roku remote. The Josh remote knew where to be because I already told it where to be. I don't have to select Roku on here. It's already there. It's ready for me to go. And if I wanted to, I could also speak voice commands into here. If I don't want to have to speak out loud to that, I can tell it to go to Disney Plus or Showtime or Netflix or Hulu. And very simple to use.
So not only do you have a physical remote, which does make things easy, but even if something happened to the wall device, you would still, if you wanted, be able to have voice command right into the remote.
Watch Netflix.
Opening Netflix.
Nice.
I mean, that's the most common use case, right? I mean, right there, watch Netflix.
Yeah,
we'll get out of go home.
Tony, a lot of times when people don't like voice control, it's because they're a little freaked out. They give a voice command and 30 minutes later they've got an ad showing up on their phone and it's very disturbing because it's Big Brotherish. How is Josh.ai different from that?
Yeah, it's very common when people talk about that in regards to voice control. And you know, Josh has certain wake commands that we do to wake it up. It's not listening, it's private. It only listens when we say his name. And you know, those other companies, they could afford to sell you that product for $30, $40, $50, $100, even for a good one. Why? Because they're making all that money in advertising. And Josh does not do that. Josh only listens when we say the wait command. And if you wanted to have a private conversation, you don't want him listening for any reason. Let's say you feel like you want to have an intimate conversation. You could just say, okay, Josh, mute yourself.
Now muted.
And now he's not listening. And we can continue to have a private conversation, even though that's not going out to anybody, where no one's listening to that. So what happens with the Josh ecosystem is it still needs to go to the cloud, still needs to be cloud connected, because what it's doing, it's transcribing my voice to text. So it's going out to a server, and if I say, play Billy Joel radio in the dining room, it's taking that voice, changing it to text, and sending it back. That server only sees Josh.ai is asking for this information and sends it back. It doesn't see an IP address, it doesn't see a username, it doesn't see an account name, it doesn't see an email, it doesn't see anything. Sends it back to the server, talks to your Sonos or whatever device you have, and plays your music.
So because the cloud is not seeing an IP address, all your information stays private.
100%.
And you don't get all kinds of disturbing, stupid messages.
No advertisements about cat food.
You know, Tony, an amazing thing to me about Josh is how even some complex commands can be really made simple by this system.
Yeah, traditionally in a home automation system, we would have, an entertain button or a party button. And the homeowner would tell us, hey, we want to have these rooms of audio turn on, we want these lights at this level, these shades to go down, or these outside lights, or fans, or temperature, whatever those things may be. That had to be pre-programmed into a typical control system. Well, now with Josh, we can just say, okay, turn on holiday music in the living room, dining room, kitchen, family room at 30%. Lower the lights to 45%. Lower all the shades and turn on the outside lights. And now we're done. It becomes that easy because we're already talking to all these different devices in our ecosystem. We know what those commands are. We can do complex things. And some of those other things we talked about earlier, the free voice platforms, you have to be very specific in what you're telling it to do. It doesn't understand complex commands, even to the point where you can tell Josh, it's a little warm in here. He understands that and will make it cooler. Or it's a little bright in here. He understands that and will make it brighter. So the smart command and control and complex commands and controls are really simple with the Josh.ai platform. If you're enjoying this video,
please like and subscribe and click that little bell icon to be notified of our upcoming content. So Tony, we've talked a little bit about how Josh can make even a complex string of commands simple, and that's a wonderful thing. You hear a lot these days about artificial intelligence and GPT. Can Josh play a role there?
Absolutely, it's really cool, and you wonder why would that be important, but maybe, for example, we're watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
So I might ask, hey Josh, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy?
James Gunn directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's pretty cool. And it's really cool if you're listening to music, you might say, where was this recorded? All of that information is out there. And normally we'd be picking up our phone, typing in, where was this recorded? But it's pretty cool to be able to talk to your house and ask your house about that content.
And you can do it with privacy because it's never seeing
Of course.
your specific address.
Of course. Yeah, it's great.
So we've seen how Josh can make even a complex string of commands really simple. Are there some other things it can do?
Yeah, let's say you're done watching Guardians of the Galaxy. We're done for the night, we want to turn the system off. Well, it'd be really easy to just say, okay, Josh, turn off the TV and turn on the lights to 100%.
Powering off. The lights are now set to 100% brightness.
Love it. So my understanding is you don't even need to be especially precise with your commands. It can figure out kind of where you're going.
So the whole AI platform and being smart and being intuitive, those other control systems we talked about earlier, you have to be very specific with that command, like you just said. But with Josh, I could say, okay, Josh, it's too bright in here. And he'll lower the lights.
Lights are now much dimmer.
Because he understands natural conversation. So now we have this ability to bring this control system into our house and actually talk to our house and tell it what to do. It's pretty powerful.
Back to your point about really easy to use.
Very easy. It doesn't get much easier than that.
No. So Tony, one of the most powerful things about Josh is that it learns as you go. And you have an example you want to show us of it actually creating a new scene that you want it to do.
Yeah, so we talked about earlier how if you want to do all these complex things, all these different zones, and let's say you find yourself doing that all the time. Let's say it's a movie night with your family. we can create a new scene with Josh that we could replicate all the time. I'll show you. So if I just want to say, okay, Josh, create a new scene called movie night.
What would you like the scene movie night to do?
Turn off the lights and watch Netflix.
Your scene movie night has been created.
Okay, Josh, it's movie night.
I'm on it.
It seems like the more you live with Josh, the more things you realize that it can do.
Yeah, so we think of it control systems as I want to control my speakers, I want to turn my TV on, lower the shades, lighting, all of those really cool things that we want to adapt and use in our space. But the more you live with it, the more you realize, wow, what other things can I do? So for example, maybe your hands are full and you're making rice and you're in the kitchen, you just say, okay, Josh, turn the lights red in 23 minutes. And now you know in 23 minutes.
23 minutes.
There you go. He's gonna do it for me in 23 minutes. Now I can go back to what I was doing. I don't have to set a timer. I can go wash my hands and get back to business. So the little things, just adding to the fundamentals that you can do with voice control in your space.
The lights are now set to red.
And now we know our rice is ready.
Tony, there are some things you can do without voice control.
Yeah, so the app from Josh is fantastic, and that's something they really wanted to try to prioritize over the last year and a half or so, is they were known primarily as a voice control company.
Yep.
But in the app, and now with the addition of the Josh One, which is a new system that allows you to have Josh control without voice, you have the app. And you could type in anything you want into the app. You could use it to control your lighting, your Sonos, your TV, your Roku, all from that user interface, as well as type in complex commands. Let's say you want to listen to Led Zeppelin in the living room, dining room, and family room at 30% and close all the shades. All you have to do is type that into your phone, hit enter, and now you've done that complex command without voice.
Really simple.
Really simple.
We'd like to show you an even more compact way to get Josh performance into your home. This is Josh Nano, and you can see that it's about the size of a silver dollar. Its aesthetics are great, and it even comes in two colors, coral white or jet black. So when compared to Josh Micro, the Nano is simply too small to put a speaker in it. There's just nowhere to fit one. But it will still respond to your commands, and it will communicate with the lights, the shades, the sound, the TV set, with whatever you're trying to control in that room that you've placed Nano in. Now, Josh.ai has also partnered with Lutron, who make a 2-gang wall plate. So you can have a Lutron Palladium or C-Touch keypad in one part of the wall plate with Josh Nano on the other part of the wall plate for a really clean, neat, and concealed look. Alex and Tim, the founders of Josh.ai, and the entire Josh.ai team have done a great job of taking benefits that used to be found only in big, complex control systems and bringing them into products that are easy to use. We have Josh.ai installed here at our Gramophone Experience Center, and we love it. It makes things fun. We'd love to show you the Josh.ai system here at the Experience Center at Gramophone. It's all set up and ready to demo, so come visit us. We've got store locations in Timonium, Columbia, and Gaithersburg, Maryland. To learn more about Josh.ai, please visit gramophone.com.